Greek myths are like a giant tree that has many, many, many branches, and they're all connected to the tree. There are hundreds of branches that go out, but they're all connected. So if you start telling a myth, then you touch upon another one, and then another one, and another one, and another branch, and they all come back to the main story, or they explain more of the cosmos and the story of the world. We're gonna talk about the myth of Paris and who it was, how it started, and how it all led to the Trojan War. Imagine you are in a palace. It's late at night in Troy. The king Priamos in Greek, and the queen Hecuba, Ekavi in Greek, they are expecting a child. She's about to give birth, and they're sleeping. In the middle of the night, Hecuba, she awakes from a nightmare. She wakes up and she tells Priam that she saw that she gave birth to a flaming torch. Now Priam goes to the priest, and the priest takes it as a bad omen, and he interprets it to be connected to the doom of Troy, so he would better not keep the child. Next day, Hecuba gives birth to a baby boy. Priam decides to not keep the child, following the advice of the priest. So he takes the child and he brings it to the shepherd of the palace and tells him, here's the boy, take it and kill it. The shepherd takes it and brings it up to Mount Ida, the mountain of Troy, and he doesn't have the heart to kill it. A little bit like Snow White. He leaves it in the forest, in the mountain. Now, after 9 days, the shepherd returns to the mountain, thinking that the baby would be lost or would be eaten by wild animals, killed. But instead, what he finds is the little baby. He's alive and well, and he was nursed, all these 9 days, he was nursed by a bear. So the shepherd takes this as a sign, and he says, I cannot kill the child. So what he does instead, he kills a deer, and he takes the tongue of the deer and brings it to Priam to prove that the child is dead. And what he does is he takes the little boy inside a sack, and that's how the boy takes his name for being Paris. So the boy grows up as a son of a shepherd. He becomes a shepherd himself, but you can see his royal blood, his royal origins in the way that he carries himself. He is very graceful, he's very beautiful, he's very courageous. It was said that when he is young, he brought together other courageous young men, and they formed a gang, and they fought thieves of animals. And for that reason, he got his name Alexander, which means protector of men. Another thing that he did was to put bulls to fight, and his bull was the bravest, so he beat other bulls. He would go to different towns, and he would bring his bull and say, whoever has a very strong bull, come and try and beat my bull, and I will give you a golden crown for that. And the god Eris, the god of war, heard his challenge, and he went down transformed as a bull himself, and he fought Paris's bull, and he won. And Paris was very honorably, he gave the winner the golden crown. And it is said that that was the thing that the gods really appreciated. They appreciated the fact that Paris was so honorable and he did the right thing. And that is why they chose him to be the judge in the contest that is to come between the three goddesses. There was a wedding going on up in Olympus, the home of the gods. And that was the wedding between Thetis, who is a sea goddess, daughter of a god of the sea. And by the way, she is the mother of Achilles. She was going to be married with Peleus, who is a mortal man. And everybody, all the gods were invited to the wedding. But one goddess was not invited, and that is the goddess Eris. This is the goddess of discord. she thought that this was not just what they did to her. They did not invite her. So what she does is she brings a beautiful golden apple with the inscription "to the fairest," and she throws it among the gods and the goddesses. And the goddesses, the three goddesses, Hera or Hera, Aphrodite, and Athena, they're very interested in the apple. And they ask Zeus to be the judge. Who is the fairest? The fairest should get the apple. But Zeus doesn't want to be involved. He says, leave me out of it. They decide that Paris, a mortal shepherd, would be the right person to judge this contest. So they appear in front of him as he was down with his sheep in the forest. And Hera tells him, if you choose me as the fairest and give me the apple, I will make you ruler of whole Asia, and you will have great wealth. And Athena tells him, if you choose me as the fairest and you give me the apple, I will make you the wisest man in the whole world, and you will exceed in battle. And Aphrodite tells him, if you choose me and you give me the apple as the fairest, I will give you the most beautiful woman in the world. And Paris takes the apple and he gives it to Aphrodite. So Aphrodite now has to present him the most beautiful woman in the world. Some time passes and Paris is reunited with his birth family. How is he reunited? He takes part in games. It is because of a birthmark that he has that he is recognized by his real father, Priam and Hecuba. So they forget about the prophecy, they forget about everything. So Paris is taken back as Prince of Troy. Short after he comes back as the Prince of Troy, he sent as part of a diplomatic expedition to Greece, to Sparta. And he brings presents and gold from Troy to the king Menelaus. And Menelaus is married to Helen. Now, Menelaus had to be in Crete for that time. He was attending a funeral of his father, so he had to be away. Helen was by herself in the palace without Menelaus. And this is when Aphrodite comes, and with her help, Helen, as the most beautiful woman in the world, is given to Paris as a prize for his judgment, for giving her, Aphrodite, the golden apple. Some versions have Paris abducting Helen. Some versions have Helen being guided by Aphrodite, so she comes by her own will. So Paris takes Helen with him back to Troy, and they live together as husband and wife. Now, Helen is not just any woman. She said that she may be the daughter of Zeus. She has a sister, Clytemnestra, and she is married to Agamemnon, who is the brother of Menelaus. So we have two brothers married to sisters. Before she was married to Menelaus, the story says that her all future possible grooms came to present themselves, and she enters the room. She's very beautiful, everybody's looking at her, and the men make a pact, make a promise that whoever gets to marry Helen, the rest they would come to his aid if he needed their aid. Finally, Helen marries Menelaus, and when Paris takes Helen to Troy, Menelaus goes back to those men, the other prominent men of Greece, and he reminds them of their promise. So he tells them, you made a promise that you will come to my aid. So now I need your help to retrieve my wife from Paris. And this is how it is said that the Trojan War began. And Euripides took the myth and he wrote a play called The Trojan Women, but the play starts really after the war. Right after the war has ended, the Greeks have won the war, they have destroyed the city, most of the men are killed, and the Trojan women are waiting to be shipped to Greece. The lots are going to be drawn and the Trojan women are going to find their fate. Who of the Greek generals is taken home with them as part of the spoils? They're going to be slaves. Priam is dead. His sons are dead. Paris is dead. He dies during the war. Hector, the hero of Troy, one of the sons of Hecuba and Priam, is dead. We have a prologue in the play. We have the two gods, Poseidon and Athena, starting the play, opening the play. Then we have the entrance of the chorus. And after the entrance of the chorus, we have the first episode, followed by the first chorus song. Then we have the second episode, followed by the second chorus song. And then we have the third episode, followed by a third chorus song. And then we have the exit of the chorus, the exodus. This is the structure of the tragedy, and any tragedy, really. It has the same structure. All the tragedies have the same structure, how they are built and how they are written. When the play that we are doing, the Trojan Woman, starts, we see a Hecuba, who is the queen, and she's devastated and she's not able to get up from the ground. The first episode is between Cassandra and Hecuba. Cassandra is one of the daughters of Hecuba. That's another myth there, a beautiful myth. She is the priestess of Apollo. She's touched by Apollo. She has the gift of divination, but also a curse from Apollo that she is not to be believed. She is able to see the future, she is able to predict events, but no one will believe her. Another woman of Troy that takes part, and this is the second episode in the play, is Andromache, the wife of Hector, and she has a little boy, Astyanax, whose name means the king of the city. The second episode is very dramatic, very tragic, heartbreaking moment, and you will see why if you watch the play. Helen is there, and Menelaus will come in the third episode. The idea is that Menelaus will kill her, but this is not what happens. And why am I saying all this? Why am I saying all this story, you might ask? Because it is important when you watch Greek tragedy to understand how much these stories were part of the culture, the knowledge of the Greeks. They knew these stories, they knew these legends. And also, we're talking about things that they are legends. We don't know if they are history, if they are historical facts, but they are stories that they are already embedded in their existence, the Greeks. Another thing that I want to say is about the presence, the existence of the gods in those plays. There is no Greek tragedy that does not have the influence of one god at least, or more. The Trojan Women is opened by Poseidon and Athena, and they determine the fates of the Greeks. So the gods are very much present in this Greek literature. They are the ones that manipulate the fates of men and the stories that men say. And this is one of the arguments that Helen makes in this particular play in the third episode when she comes on stage, and you will see in the production. This is her main argument, that how can I change anything? How could I have done anything different than what the gods had me do?